Good afternoon, everybody. It is 3:07 p.m. Mountain Time on Wednesday, June 9th. And yes, it's been a minute since I've done a video. Last Thursday, 6 days ago was last time I did a video. And got a lot to share. It's not gonna take too long. And I'm gonna share my opinions on some things. I'm gonna tell you why I've started to accumulate Bitcoin around the 33,000 area and what I'm thinking and what my game plan is with Bitcoin and altcoins. But right now, the world's watching Bitcoin. My eyes are on Bitcoin. Altcoins had monstrous runs, and obviously we had the 60, 70, 80, 90% crashes in a lot of these altcoins. So Bitcoin is kind of, I got some strategies that I'm going to go over, or two strategies that I'm taking advantage of right now that I'm going to go over. But I'm going to go over that. And we're going to go over a lot of what's happened in the last week or so and what's on the horizon that's going to be happening. So obviously, it's just been frustrating. We look like we're moving up, we're breaking out, like we did right here, and then we just get sent right back down, looking like we're heading to 30,000, like it's going to correct, and then we see some bids coming in, and then some positive news, and we're moving up on positive news. So we're back in a breakout of this trend line. So before I go over Bitcoin analysis, I want to get into what's been going on in the news. So obviously the Miami Bitcoin conference was last weekend. A lot of people said it was a shit show. As you've seen, some of the screaming and yelling, people jumping up on stage, ripping off their shirt, Dogecoin logo shirts on, and stuff like that. Anyways, I wasn't there. I don't know, so I can't make a judgment on it. It seems like a lot of good things went on there, and then it was just one big party. So a lot of trying to convince people to buy Bitcoin. Anyways, so I'm going to talk about what I'm doing with Bitcoin. I'm going to talk about yield farming and the benefits of that, and going to go over some news articles and where we stand with Bitcoin and where I see it going. So let's get into it. Let's start with the negative, right? So people consider this negative. Feds recover millions from pipeline ransom hackers, hint at U.S. internet tactics. So anyways, these ransom hackers, the feds recovered millions from these hackers who were paid in cryptocurrency. And it is bad news. I see this as good news, because the argument is that Bitcoin is used to launder money when less than 1% of all illicit transactions, it's like less than 1% of them are through cryptocurrency or some statistic like that. Anyways, but it just shows that you can catch people. That's how I view this. It's like if it was cash, if it was cash, never be able to track it down. So anyways, this is one news headline that caused a little additional selling past couple days. This happened, when was this exactly? I think it was yesterday, June 7th, so 2 days ago. So anyways, moving on, we have Chinese search engines block results for top crypto exchanges. So China's cracking down on crypto. They don't want obviously it's a state-run government, and they want their currency used. So this is a threat, and I'm going to show you why it's a threat. And I don't think that any government is going to be able to, not that it would necessarily reflect in the price. I mean, buying and selling is what the price is determined off of, like who owns what and who's selling what and who's buying what. So obviously, a state-run government wants their currency used. When there's a threat of an outside currency that's argumentatively decentralized, they're not going to like that. They're going to try and put a stop to it. So China's stance toward decentralized cryptocurrency trading appears to be getting even tougher. Chinese journalist Colin Wu and crypto news site 8BTC News have both claimed that as Wednesday's search results for some of the world's leading cryptocurrency exchanges are pulling up zero results. So they're blocking them. Anyways, crypto markets tumble after miners unload 5,000 Bitcoin in 1 week. So as you can see, I've set these up strategically. I set these up strategically that one kind of segues right into the other. And, with China cracking down, who's the largest mining Bitcoin miners in the world is China. So they're getting rid of it because they're cracking down on it, and that's my interpretation of this. So it'll eventually end. Mining will move somewhere else. There's only a couple million left to mine anyways, which will take 150 years till you mine the last one, which will bring it to like 20,999,999.7 or something like that, and it'll take it like 150 years to get that last one done. So anyways, a lot of stuff going on that caused the Bitcoin price to be, I wouldn't even say drop, I'd say be forced down. It was very, very forced down, and it seemed like it was just getting pushed down, almost like it was really nice to see some strong resistance. And a lot of this stuff is kind of what determined my strategy and my actions on what I'm doing with Bitcoin. Anyways, Donald Trump calls Bitcoin a scam against the dollar. Well, of course it is. It's not going to be used as a currency. I mean, it is being adopted as a currency, but it is competition to the dollar. What is he going to say? Yeah, ditch the dollar and buy Bitcoin? He's the president of the United States. The U.S. dollar he was former president of the United States. Excuse me. Of the United States, which uses the U.S. dollar. He's not going to say anything that's going to betray that. And I have my suspicions that Donald Trump made millions and millions off of Bitcoin the last bull run. So, anyways, that's the negative stuff. Now, here's the big stuff. And I think this is where Bitcoin is heading. And keep in mind, this is all fundamental research, news headlines, stuff like that. And in a bear market, technicals lead fundamentals. So, bill to make Bitcoin legal tender passes in El Salvador. So El Salvador, congratulations, the first country to adopt Bitcoin as a currency. And this is where the opportunity is in these smaller third world countries. I'm not sure if El Salvador is a third world country. I think it is. But I mean, this is their chance. This is their chance to really step up and grow and compete with other countries and really do something. It really is. I mean, whatever you think about Bitcoin or not, could it be an opportunity that doesn't play out? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got China, you got the United States, you got Russia. I mean, they're going to do what they can to protect their currency, but pretty exciting stuff. Good for them. Taking a chance and trying to do something innovative for their country. It's great. Not only that, but there was a mandate for businesses to adapt to accept Bitcoin. So there's a mandate for merchants, businesses to accept Bitcoin. So pretty cool stuff there. So what's next after that? Paraguay, baby, next to see crypto business with the July bill. So in July, they may follow El Salvador, and you see all these leaders of the smaller countries, the Latin countries, with the laser eyes on Twitter. It's kind of exciting. I try to stay level, but I think it's pretty exciting. I think it's kind of cool that the world is changing. I mean, even if nothing comes of this, that's a possibility, but just that the world is changing. So who else? All the countries where Bitcoin adoption is being considered. So you got El Salvador, you got Paraguay, which you already talked about. And then you got Panama, Brazil, and just go to Twitter, go to this article, go to Twitter and go check these guys out on Twitter and follow them. You got Brazil, and you got Mexico, Argentina. I think Argentina and Paraguay will be next. Would be pretty cool. So, yeah, I think it's awesome. I think that with adoption of the currency, people need to own the currency in order to use it, should they actually use it, even though, most people in the crypto space consider it more a store of value like gold, where Ethereum can be considered more a currency, which I'm not going to get into that. I do have a video way back that it kind of explains that in the language between Solidity and Script, Ethereum using Solidity and Bitcoin using Script. Anyways, pretty cool stuff. Then, you have some more positive news. More and more backing, more and more investment, major U.S. trading platform, Interactive Brokers to offer cryptocurrency trading. So, it's not E-Trade or TD Ameritrade, but it's not Robinhood. Interactive Brokers, they're getting into the space because they see the opportunity. People are trading it. The biggest thing to take off of this is the exchanges make money off of fees or subscriptions or selling order flow. So selling your orders to people who could use that information to use it against you. Or they make it off of fees or commissions. So if it's being traded, then they're going to make money off the trading of it. Now what they have to do is they have to buy that to have on their exchange so it's actually tradable, and they don't do something illegal like SureTrader that, you know, was allowing people to trade and it wasn't actual transactions. They weren't actually owning the stock. But yeah, so pretty awesome news there. They will have to buy to store on their exchange. Anyways, now this has been just something that's been growing and growing in my head. Michael Saylor, the biggest Bitcoin bull out there, MicroStrategy, gets 1.6 billion in orders in junk bond offering. They initially sought $400 million offering. The next day I saw it up to 500 million, and then now we're seeing 1.6 billion. So he's basically leveraging everything he can to buy more Bitcoin. So a $1.6 billion buy, it's pretty significant. That's pretty significant. I don't know if the whole 1.6 billion will be spent on Bitcoin, but I know he's trying to get his hands on as much as possible. And I'll explain why that's important when we get into the technical analysis and supply and demand. So, you know, we do have other things. Hester Pierce, stricter crypto laws will stifle innovation, says SEC Commissioner. Well, that's great. I think that regulation is good. Got a lot of scams out there. You really do. And this is just something that it has to be done. And stricter crypto laws, you know, will stifle innovation. I don't think that it's realized the innovation that has already taken place in the last 2 years when it comes to staking and staking stable coins. And, you know, when these high wealth individuals realize that they can stake USD coin on Swissborg. At one point it was 34%. I think it's like 14 or 16% now. It like blows their mind. You know, you have $50 million, you know, you don't want to risk it on some crap coin, you know, or some extremely volatile Bitcoin that you could put it into USD coin that stays right at $1 and at sometimes make as high as 30%, depending on what the rate is at the time. Anyways, moving on. Report suggests BlockFi seeks to raise millions at a valuation of $5 billion. So another potential S-Coin Telegraph reported BlockFi raised $350 million in Series D financing earlier this year, building on the $100 million it raised via 3 earlier funding rounds. Platform has been a source of growth and adoption during the crypto bull market, which saw digital lending products reach the mainstream. Yeah, so just a lot of stuff happening. I think the biggest things are the Latin countries adopting Bitcoin as a currency, and of course MicroStrategy just buying more and more Bitcoin. And let's see. Oh, I don't even really care to have Twitter open, but okay, so let's move on. Let's get into Bitcoin now. What is it doing? So I'll tell you what, you know, a lot of shorting, a lot of selling, and I'll tell you what I think is going on. It really felt like it was just trying to get pushed down as much as it can, so institutions could load up and buy. Because every time it started to come down, it got a little buy. You know, it came down here and it got a buy. So it came down and retested this 31,000, what is that? Yeah, 31,000 level again. And that's when all the, you know, stuff with El Salvador started playing out again, like the confirmation of it. The MicroStrategy just kept going up in their offering. And now we're breaking out of this trend line again, but I'm actually going to move this. Actually, there's no more pennant there. This is now horizontal resistance, which is better anyways, which I already have there. So this is what we're looking for. So we're in this range. And let me tell you what I think based on the previous thought of institutions just buying up retail sellers Bitcoin is technically, from a technical standpoint, whoops, here's what I think is going to happen. If I had to guess what's going to happen, right, one thing that scares me is this potential head and shoulders. Not the cleanest one, I try to think of all scenarios though. Is I think what's going to happen, 50-day comes down below the 200, and it's going to happen somewhere towards the end of June, maybe mid to end of June. We are going to make a sideways break of the 50-day moving average. Now, as we start to rise up towards the 200-day moving average, which will probably be around 43,000 at that time, we'll get rejected. We'll come back down, and as the 50-day, probably more towards like mid-July, as the 50-day moving average starts to curl back up, it'll provide upward pressure underneath the price of the Bitcoin underneath these candles, and it'll push us up, and that's when we will potentially break through the 200-day moving average. And then at that point, we have our previous talks of, this right here. I think 42,000 is a big level, and I think that 47,000 is a big level. So that's what I'm looking to happen. Now, I started buying Bitcoin again at 33,000 for the long-term position. I've been just trading ever since I lost on this buy right here, where we closed with a low above the 50-day moving average, and boom, I got toast there, and then I let it come down a little, and the 42,000 I thought would hold, didn't. I lost there. Those were just my Bitcoin trades. I did have a good amount of winners too. Matic, don't forget about Matic at 85 cents. So we'll talk about that too. Anyways, that's what I see happening. I'm building a position for the long term. So above 42,000, I'm a buyer again. Above 47,000, I'm a buyer again. On the downside, I'm looking at two areas. Number one, 30,000 on the dot. I'm looking for a close below there, and my next buy zone is 24,000. Why 24,000? 24,000 because that's where this gap is from December 24th, 23,795. So on the Bitcoin futures chart, and nice thing to notice here about the Bitcoin futures chart is we're still above the 200-day moving average there. So that's where a lot of the big money is mostly buying outside of the institutions and exchanges. They just tend to buy through there, a little more, just tend to pay attention to futures a little more. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But definitely a good sign there. We do have another gap, as mentioned previously, at 18,460. But anyways, I'm a buyer there also, should we come down more. But I'm building for the longer term position again. So altcoins. What are we doing in altcoins? Not much. We made a higher high here, but got rejected by the 50-day moving average. We're pinching that. I'm not really trying to guess here. We did have a head and shoulders here, potentially still, even though we have two peaks. So it looks like it's just kind of moving sideways. Maybe a bear flag there. So not really doing too much with altcoins though. Altcoins had a really, really big run. And so I'm not going to do too much with this. I'm really focused on Bitcoin right now. So I'm really focused. Let me move this line just before we. So really just focused on Bitcoin. Altcoins had their move for like 2 months. So will they move more? Probably. Something we haven't looked at too much is Ethereum dominance, and check that out. We're at like all-time highs in Ethereum dominance, and this is what everything's being built off of. And I personally think that one day Ethereum will flip Bitcoin and have a higher market cap. I could be wrong on that. It's a long shot, but the big money is focused on Bitcoin still. So anyways, just wanted to bring that up. Haven't really dove into it too much. Haven't really found too much significance with it just yet either, but it is 19% of the market cap of crypto. So you can see Bitcoin's moving up and the dominance is moving up. That's great. That's what we want to see if we're in Bitcoin. Bitcoin, we saw here Bitcoin was moving down and dominance was moving up. So the fact that we're moving up on dominance and Bitcoin is moving up, that means that Bitcoin is moving up at a higher percentage rate than the altcoin market cap. So something to think about when you're making your decision on what you want to be in and what you want to buy. So into the altcoins, just real quick, just wanted to touch on Matic. and then I'm going to get into some of the other altcoins after I talk about yield farming real quick. So Matic, when we were right here, we're saying, hey, we need to develop a bottom trend line here. And that's probably going to sit somewhere around the 50-day moving average. And we didn't know exactly where it was going to be, but you could see here it is. Here's where we hit, and it's definitely consolidated for a while. 144. I had to buy in at 107 just to see if it was going to tank, if I could catch a bottom. But anyways, wanted to go over Matic just because it is one of the ones that I like. Another reason also why I do think that we move forward and upward still in the future, that we continue to move up. Mark Cuban was announced as an investor, and it was right in this range, and that's when it exploded. He probably did some of the buying in this area. He's not somebody who's going to buy and then sell a few days later, and he's definitely not somebody who's just going to wing it and just dive into something. He's done his research, and he is, planning on making money off of this. And should we continue the bull run to where I think Bitcoin is going to go in the future, whether we see, $10,000 or whether we have seen the bottom, this could probably be a $10 asset. So anyways, moving on. Before I talk about these next ones, sorry, I guess we can't talk about these before we talk about yield farming. Anyways, two bright spots that have been doing really well through the Bitcoin drop. Number one is SafeSwap. This is probably the one I see the most opportunity in. This is one that I got in a pre-sale off of YFDI, and I actually bought more at 16 cents. They are going to have either today or tomorrow, unless something gets delayed, they're going to have staking for 72% APR. That's 2.2% a day, 6% a month. Phenomenal. I mean, if you're holding something that you think is going to go up and you can make 6% a month off of it, why not? I'm extremely excited about that. But you could see how its price is separated from its Bitcoin price. That's what you want to see, is its US dollar price go up at a faster rate than its Bitcoin price. So really, really well. It went from I want to say 18 cents to 24. It's up 90% in the last 7 days. So as Bitcoin was going down, that was really nice that I had something in there that I've been holding. This is just one that I hold. I don't have a lot in it, but I mean, I think you've seen these ones go up, 100x or 10,000%. I've been in one already, Shiba Inu. This is probably the one that I think has the best chance of doing that, especially if it gets on some major exchanges, and it is on the staking is going to be on the Matic network, the Polygon network. So the other one that I'm not in is Theta Fuel. This one has done really well, up 61% in the last 7 days, 114% in the last 14 days, and you can see itself separating it from its Bitcoin price and look at the volume. I think it got a YouTube pump, but somebody mentioned it, and I've been following it and never got into it, but two really nice signs. So, okay. If that's all you want to see, go ahead and stop it here, but I really suggest that you pay attention to this next part because it's just been a phenomenal opportunity. I almost don't want to give it away just because the more people that provide liquidity, the lower the percentage gets. But anyways, there's a few places that I have used to farm. And one of the ones that I just now, and I, for whatever reason, can't connect to Google Play to download Trust Wallet on my PC. I do everything from my phone on this. But you'll just go to PancakeSwap. You need to have a Trust Wallet, which I have on my phone, but I don't have on my PC. And I wanted to get this video out, so I didn't want to mess around with it too long. So keep in mind, it can be confusing to start, but once you get going and you start doing it, it's going to be easy. It took me about 2 hours of experimenting to finally figure out how this farming on PancakeSwap works, just because it's on the Binance Smart Chain, where Autofarm and Oneinch Exchange are both on the Ethereum network. So I had never really done this on PancakeSwap, but anyways, so the nice thing about it is it's ones that I'm already holding, and not a lot of, but some of these percentages, 464%. So you're making 46% a month and you earn, I think you get pancake, I think you get cake. Yeah, you get everything that you earn, you get in cake. So PancakeSwap token. So that's the risk is, right, that what you get, PancakeSwap drops in price. The other risk is that what you're staking, which is going to be BNB and Marsh, I've never heard of that. ADA just listed on Binance the other day. It dropped significantly. You risk PancakeSwap going down in price, and you risk, what was it called, Marsh? Let's look that up. And you risk the coins that you're staking going down in price. Now, the plus side of this is that your risk is extremely, extremely lowered. And look at this. Oh, on Marshall, I've heard of that. I have heard of that. Wow, 258. Up 41%. I have heard of this, actually. So anyways, well, let's look at this to begin with. So 464%. So let's say you throw $1,000 in there, and as soon as you throw it in, the combination of your Marsh and BNB drops 75%. So now you're down to $250. Well, you're going to make 400% over the next year in cake. So you're going to be up to $1,250 and more. Obviously, it's 464%. So it could drop 75%, and as long as it doesn't drop any further than that, you still come out ahead at the end of the year. Now, the APR isn't going to stay the same. I'm not exactly sure on what determines that. I have a feeling it has to do with how much liquidity is provided. However, this is pretty high at $2 million worth, and what the price of Marsh is doing. Anyways, what I like is that there were coins that I was already in, and I'm going to go through those. Katakana. So Katakana is 255%, and so that's 23% a month. So that's one of them. And there is Hot Cross BNB. BNB, you know, I mean, you maybe have 100% upside. Pokemon, I bought a very little amount of that. The thing I like about this is that Bitcoin was coming down, and you could buy BUSD. So half, I'll explain how this works, but half of this pool, so I have half PMON and the exact same amount in dollars of BUSD, right, is that Bitcoin goes down. Bitcoin can go down 99%. BUSD is still going to be worth $1. So my downside risk is a little better there because it's always going to be $1. And lastly, I had Exceed Me, which is my lowest pool at 204%. So still making 18% a month. So, I mean, 18% a month. Say you have $10,000 in there, you're making $1,800 a month. Price goes up, say it doubles. Now you're making $3,600 a month in cake. So then what do? You go to the pools and you look at cake, and you got two different options here. You could do manual, where it compounds it manually. You can see that it compounds it 288 times a day. It reinvests it in there. You do pay a 2% fee. I want to say it's like 2%. So now you could also get, so if you notice, you'll get 67.9 cake a year, where at the lower interest rate, you'll get 69.81, so actually more. So it's based, these rates are based off of compounding. This one, automatically doing it 288 times a day. This one, if you manually do it one time a day. So if you're more active and you could do this 5 times a day, given that it probably costs 36 cents every time, I think it costs like 36 cents every time you harvest it, and 36 cents every time you do it, so it's going to cost you like 72 cents. So as long as you have enough in there. Anyways, that's, yeah. I mean, or I could stake my cake, right, and earn on Marshall, and then I can go to the farm, and I could do my Marshall VNB and earn that stake Marshall for 463. So the possibilities are endless. It's compounding interest, and the risk is that they can go to zero, right? That's the risk. So, but you've seen, like, something like this, you lose 75% tomorrow, and you're still going to come out ahead at the end of the year if it doesn't drop, you know, below that. Maybe it's 80% is the floor, so you got 2,000, yeah, 80%. It could drop 80% and you break even. So, and then, you know, this multiplier has to stay the same. Anyway, so how do you do this? So you can use Metamask. I don't prefer it. I prefer getting a trust wallet. It's much easier. So if you're going to set up Metamask, you have to go, you got to go to Metamask. Let me get out of there. You go to Metamask, and you got to set up the Binance Smart Chain Network. So you go here, you go to a custom RPC, it'll ask you network name, RPC URL, chain ID, currency symbol, Block Explorer URL. So how do you find that? You Google it, and it's at the academy.binance.com. Just Google setting up Binance Smart Chain on MetaMask, and it'll give you all that stuff. Smart Chain, it'll give you the URL, the chain ID, the symbol, Block Explorer URL. You want to use the main net, not the test net. Anyways, I haven't experimented much with that. I set up Trust Wallet, and what I do is either on KuCoin, Binance, Binance U.S., wherever you can buy BNB, buy BNB, and then send it to your Trust Wallet, right? So when you send it to your Trust Wallet, you are going to convert it. There's an option when you click on your BNB. I'm going to use my phone. This is extremely unprofessional. Not unprofessional, but ragtag. So this is kind of what it looks like. Trust Wallet. Go to your BNB. You'll get that. Click on More, and it'll give you an option to swap to Smart Chain. So you swap to Smart Chain, right? And you just put in the amount you want to swap to Smart Chain. And I apologize again. I didn't want to spend a bunch of hours trying to figure out how to connect to Google Play on my PC. But anyway, so then you have your Smart Chain token. So now you can trade. Go to the exchange, and this is where you can buy whatever it is you want to stake. So let's say it's Marsh, right? So you import it. Yes, boom. Now you could swap your BNB for your Marsh. So obviously I have no wallet connected. This is my MetaMask wallet. I don't have anything on my Smart Chain MetaMask wallet, so it's not going to. So yeah, maybe that's a route you want to pursue, is setting up Smart Chain, Binance Smart Chain, sending BNB to your Smart Chain main net in your MetaMask wallet, and you want to connect to PancakeSwap that way. I just prefer Trust Wallet. It's pretty simple, and I just buy BNB on Binance U.S. and then send it to my Trust Wallet, and then I do my buying there. If you send Ethereum from your Ethereum mainnet on your MetaMask wallet, sorry, this is going to confuse you, and you send it to your Trust Wallet, you're not going to be able to buy anything on Smart Chain because you're still on that ERC20 blockchain. So you're going to have ERC20 Ethereum, and you're going to be trying to buy Binance Smart Chain tokens. So it's not going to be doable. So just my recommendation, you can mess around, send stuff to your Binance Smart Chain mainnet on your MetaMask. I just prefer buy BNB somewhere else, send it to your Trust Wallet, use that BNB to buy whatever it is that you're going to buy, just like you would Ethereum on MetaMask. So that's my suggestion. So next, what you're going to do, and again, like I said, this took me 2 hours, so it's going to be a little confusing when you first start, but once you get it, you're going to get it, is you have to have equal amounts. So let's say you're staking Cake and BNB. You have to have equal amounts. So say you want to stake $500 each. You have to have $500 worth of Cake, $500 worth of BNB, and then you create what's called, so you got to enable, and then you'll have to get Cake BNB LP. So essentially what you're doing is you're combining Cake and BNB to create a LP token, or a liquidity providing token. So you'll put your $500, you'll input your $500 here, however much that works out. I think it's like it's $500. It's like 1.2 BNB or something like that. And then you'll put in your $500 of Cake, and then you hit a button, and it'll create that token. It'll create the liquidity token, right, which you can take out once you're done, and you can break it back down. And then you just stake your liquidity token. So you'll go to this, and there'll be a stake option. And I'm sorry I don't have more of a tutorial for this, but even with a tutorial, you're going to have to mess around with it, and you're going to have to, learn. You're going to have to learn. So let me see if I'll pull it up on my phone. My apologies. So if you go to Cake, blah, 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 you get Cake BNB. So I'll have to enable. Well, I'm going to have to spend money to enable that. Anyways, that's what you'll do. If you have any questions, just ask me either through the comments or on Twitter or through Stock Market Mentor. I'm happy to answer. I'm going to work on maybe doing another, if I could figure out this Google Play thing, maybe getting a little more in depth, but play around with it. Don't get discouraged. It's a great opportunity, especially since prices have come down. You're not buying at the top. I already know what I'm considering, getting into next. But yeah, anyways, so looking at the coins that we already hold, I do have Katakana. That was as high as $18, got in around $6, $7. Not going to get too much into this. Polkastarter Pokemon got in around $6.30 recently, just because I wanted to mess around with staking the BUSD pair. This was down 91.5%, so I have very little in that, with hopes that one day it can get back to where it was, and if it doesn't, then it's no big deal. Exceed me, right about where we got into it, maybe up a few percent, but these are the ones that we've talked about with five of the low market cap, micro cap altcoins. Polkastarter down a few pennies on, Superfarm actually up on. So haven't seen any pools for this, but a couple other ones that I do like is interesting to me is I was looking on Autofarm. I have used Autofarm, not very much, but 131.2,000% for wrapped BNB and Wings LP. And then I saw it says 2.05% daily. So maybe this is compounding whatever rewards you get. I'm not too familiar with Autofarm, but it is another option. Titan is another option. I haven't really looked into either. I've heard other people using. But just to go back here, you're looking at, it says these APY calculations, 743.54% APR. So I don't know why it says 131,000. Oh, you get Autofarm tokens. So you put wrap BNB and Wings in here, and here's the Wings price. It's up 6.3%, and then you get Autofarm to the amount of little over 2% a day, which is phenomenal. This is what blows my mind, is that you can get these types of returns in DeFi. And the other one that I've used is Oneinch Exchange. So you can see like over 1,000. The one thing when I see these 1,000 is I like to look at the liquidity. There's $25 in this whole pool. Not enough data yet. ETH and ERC20 token. And then I look at the earning, like how much does it pay out? So, there was one that I was testing before that was over 1,000, and it was like every 7 days I'd see a green bar. So this is like, not too frequently either, but might be worth it. Might be worth a try. Has some pretty high APYs in here too. I don't recognize any of these tokens. That's why I prefer PancakeSwap, because it had tokens that I was already holding. And Phantom and USD coin, 69%. But as you can see, still much higher APR on PancakeSwap. I'm probably going to get into on Marshall very shortly. But I am planning, so that's my strategy right now. I'm slowly building a position in Bitcoin. I am yield farming these microcap altcoins, and I am reinvesting them and compounding them until I see something change in the altcoin market. And I am staking SafeSwap and YFDAI for that matter. YFDAI hasn't really been doing that great, but it allows me to get into the pre-sales. But again, SafeSwap really looking for. I'm trying to earn passive income to reinvest just to increase my gains should the market go up again, which I think it will. So, anyways, this is one I just had brought up on my computer. Sorry, it's nothing. It's up 56%. I noticed it and I was looking into it. It's one I had been in the past before. I think it got a YouTuber pumping it. But anyways, that's it for today. So got a good overview and thought process. I think I just feel like this is the bottom. We've come down and just been pressured towards that $30,000 area. Just 3 or 4 times now, and every time it's just kind of held. It just hasn't been enough pressure. There's just been too much not enough downward pressure to break through that 30. Could it still happen? Sure. I don't think it's going to. I think it would have happened by now. And I mean, you got regulation coming up. You got the ETF, say that gets rejected, like stuff that could potentially cause a downward movement again or more drops. But we definitely are the lowest below on the stock to flow model that we've been from what I see ever. So it looks like we're due for a bounce. And if you watch my first video, I think it's going to 100K, whether it's this year, whether it's 5 years from now. It's a supply and demand thing for me. I think it can, easily, have the entire supply bought up and just skyrocket. And that's what I think eventually will happen. That's just my opinion, though, and kind of what I'm thinking. I still have the reality in the back of my head that it could be worthless in 5 years. I don't know, but I just really don't think that countries are going to be adopting it, and MicroStrategy is going to be buying billions of dollars worth of it, not expecting it to go up. So anyways, yeah, that's my thoughts. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, ask me questions there. Stock Market Mentor, there's a free 30-day trial in the description. Join us, growing crypto community. Month and a half ago, Dan Fitzpatrick said he liked Bitcoin around 30,000. Not around 30,000. He said he likes Bitcoin at 30,000, and it hit 30,000 on the dot. So yesterday we started talking about building a position, and we're up $3,000-$4,000 in a day. Not to say that it can go back down, but we have really, really smart people in there and really long seasoned traders. And I've definitely been learning a lot since being there as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I appreciate it greatly. And just remember that none of this is to be considered financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. It's all information, educational, and entertainment purposes only. These are all just my opinions. Anyways, have a great day. Hope to see you soon, not in another 6 days. So have a good one. Bye.